Get that on. Okay. All right. So today we just have a very quick review of 3 of the methods. So example 1, solve the equation using 3 different methods. So we're only going to take this one equation. We're going to solve it 3 different ways. We have 4 methods though. So you'll notice this equation, x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Which method can't we do? Yeah, we cannot use the square root method. Everything else will work. Why can't we use the square root method?
Because they wouldn't work. They wouldn't go into each other.
The square root method is where you isolate the x squared and then you take a square root of both sides.
Oh, because the 2x.
Yeah, we got the x term, that middle term. We didn't have that x, then we could do that. But that middle term there screws with the square root method. So we can factor this. So using factoring, x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Again, everything needs to be set equal to 0. And this is standard protocol for any higher order equation. X cubed, x to the 4th, x to the 5th, which we'll all be solving as well. So we're going to double bubble. X times x is x squared. And what times what gives me negative 8? Negative 4 and positive 2. And then how do we solve for the x's? Good. Set each bubble equal to 0. So you get x equals 4 and x equals negative 2. All right. Remember, these are always things that you can check on your calculators pretty easily by graphing, okay? Get familiar with that. Remember also, a lot of you missed this on the homework that I graded yesterday. There was a problem that was like, I don't know, 3n squared is equal to n or something like that. 3n. 3n? Okay. A lot of people did not do this properly, and I took off points if you just wrote the answer and didn't show me the how of it, because you need to make sure that I understand what you're doing. Not that you understand it, it's that I understand it, okay? So you can never divide by n, ever. That is never a method for solving, okay? Thinking that, oh, it'll clean itself up a little bit and then it's easier to solve. Well, what it does is that eliminates, that divides away one of your solutions. And so you never do that. And this equation, it's a quadratic. It has a power of 2. The rule is set it equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to take this and move it over so that we are set equal to 0. And how do you factor this? There is a GCF, greatest common factor of 3n. We take out the 3 and what's left behind? 1 and minus 1. Very good. And then you have the 0 products property again. We have one thing times another thing, and we can set each thing equal to 0. Okay, so we get n equals 0 and n equals 1. That is how you do that, okay? So make sure you don't forget about GCF, also the most forgotten method of factoring. The F stands for factor, okay? All right. Now we have another method that we could use. Which one do you want to do next? Quadratic formula. Okay. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. The a is 1, the b is negative 2, and the c is negative 8. And so using the quadratic formula, what's my opposite of b? Positive 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, will always give you a positive result. Do not be confused by the calculator when you type it in wrong and it therefore gives you the wrong answer. Okay? Minus 4 times A times C. 1 times -8 is -8. Times the 4 turns to positive 32 there. Yeah. All over 2 times 1. So we get 2 plus or minus the square root of 36 all over 2. What is the square root of 36? 6 over 2. This is 2 equations. You must simplify it. 2 plus 6 over 2 is 4. 8 over 2 is 4. And then you have 2 minus 6 over 2, which is negative. Negative 2. You'll notice we got the same answers, right? Right? You should get the same answers, right? And in fact, on a test, if you were, I need to write your test. You guys have tests next week. Shoot, I think I was supposed to do that today. I forgot. Okay. In fact, on a test, using 2 different methods is a great way to double check your answers, right? No. Yeah. So the question was, am I going to tell you the method to solve? No. You get to pick whatever method you like. All right. X squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, let's again refresh our brain on how to complete the square. What's the very, 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 very first thing you must do to complete the square? Divide by A. Good. Our A value is 1, so I can, not do that. Good. What's the very second step then? Move the constant. So we have x squared minus 2x. I'm going to go ahead and add my blank spaces. And then we're going to fill the blank space with half of -2 squared. Half of -2 squared is 1. That value makes this really easy to double bubble. How does x squared minus 2x double bubble? X minus 1 times x minus 1, or x minus 1 quantity squared, is equal to 9. And then now we actually get to use the square root method. So how do I get rid of the power? Square root both sides, don't forget. Plus or minus. Very good. The square root and the square cancel out, leaving me with x minus 1 equals plus or minus 3. And then I'm going to move the 1 to the other side to get 1 plus or minus 3, which gives me 2 answers. 1 plus 3 is 4, and 1 minus 3 is -2. And guess what? Those are the same 2 answers we got the other 2 times we did it this way. Isn't that interesting? What did you say, Noah?
I said I think I got -2.
Yeah, that's right. -2. Oh. Well, okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you get to choose your method, but I am going to require you to do one of at least one of each method. Okay?